Hi guys, it's Legionero back with another quick and easy tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to make a key fob. So let's talk about the tools you're going to need. Of course, you're going to need your sewing machine and some coordinating thread. You're also going to need your iron and your ironing board. You're going to need some fabric. This is a fat quarter that I got from Walmart, just a little scrap piece. Because the measurements aren't that big for your key fob. So this is a cotton cloth, and you're going to need some fusible fleece. You're going to need some fabric scissors, some pliers. If you don't have pliers, you can use a mallet or a hammer. You're going to need a fabric marking pen or a chalk roller. And you're going to need a ruler. So the measurements are in the description box below. I'll also pop the measurements on the screen. You're going to cut a piece that is 11 by 4.5 inches. Now, I'm using a key fob that is 1.25 inches. And if you want your key fob to go all the way to the ends, you can cut it 11 by 5. But I only cut mine 11 by 4.5 because it still gets pretty close to the ends. I didn't want anything hanging over. That's the reason why I cut it at 4.5. Now, if you're using a 1-inch key fob, just play with your measurements a little bit. So you may want to cut it 11 by 3.5 or 11 by 3 3/4. It's up to you. So you just play with your measurements. But if you're using a 1.25 inch key fob, you can cut your fabric to 11 and 4.5 inches. And you're going to cut one of fabric, and you're going to cut one of fusible fleece. So once you get your pieces cut, I will show you how to fuse your fleece to your fabric piece. So let's get started. All right, once you have your pieces cut, and remember you cut a piece of fabric and a piece of fusible fleece. So take your fusible fleece, and it has a smooth side and a bumpy side. Place the bumpy side on the wrong side of your fabric. So the wrong side of your fabric should be facing up, and the bumpy side of your fusible fleece should be facing down. So just take your iron and press, and you can slightly move it around just a little bit because you don't want any iron imprints in it, but about 10 seconds should do. Right, and I like to give it a few seconds to kind of cool off a little bit. And you can check to make sure that it fused to your fabric by just kind of lifting. See if you can lift it up on the ends. And if you can't, that means it's properly fused. All right, so let's move on to our next step. Once you have ironed on your fusible fleece to your fabric, now let's go ahead and put this together. So the first thing you're going to do, you're going to fold it in half with the wrong sides facing and press. Now you're going to take one side and fold it towards that middle crease and press. And you're going to do the same thing to the other side. Fold it towards that middle crease and press. And now you're going to fold both sides onto themselves. Right. And this is very thick because of the fusible fleece. And press. Now if you find that it's not staying together, you can take some wonder clips and clip it in place. So once you have it all pressed, now you're going to take it to your sewing machine and you're going to sew down both sides. Now you can sew more than 2 times. I see a lot of people who make these. They'll sew down the edge just to make sure that this edge is secure, and then they'll sew 3 more lines. Right, so they'll actually sew 4 lines, but I'm just going to sew 2, one on this end and one on the other end. All right, so now you're going to need your strap piece that you sewn together, and I just sewed down both sides. You're going to need your key fob, your pliers, and a small piece of fusible fleece. Now you can also use a mallet for this. I'm not going to use it because I don't want to bang on my table. But if you are going to use a mallet, make sure that you're covering your key fob with a small piece of fusible fleece, just so it doesn't get scratched or anything like that. So keep that in mind if you are using a mallet. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold this in half, and I'm going to place the key fob, and I'm going to place the pieces through the key fob, and I'm going to squeeze down just a little bit, and this is just to hold this in place. All right, and I just did a little squeeze. So what you want to do now is, again, because you don't want to scratch your key fob with the ridges on your pliers, so I'm just going to take a piece of fusible fleece and wrap it around. And if you need to, you can take this part off if it's in your way. Alright, and take your pliers and just squeeze it in place. Alright, I'm going to take the fleece off just so you can see what I'm doing. But make sure you're using fleece when you do this, because you don't want to scratch up your key fob. But that's it. Your key fob is all done. So that's it, guys. You have a quick and easy key fob. These make great gifts, teacher appreciation. You can find some really cute fabric and make one as a teacher appreciation gift. These can be birthday gifts. Anything you want to use them for. If you just want to make them for yourself, there are so many different types of fun cotton cloth fabrics that you can use, so you can really play with this and make some really cool key fobs. So I can't wait to see all of your projects. Don't forget to tag me on social media at Legionnaire B Patterns. If you like this video, click the thumbs up button, and I'll see you in my next tutorial.